Grayson Allen, I mean, what he was able to do tonight, 7 made threes. How instrumental was he for you guys, especially sending that game into overtime?
Yeah, I mean, just big-time shots. I think, 3 in a row, 2 to finish the regulation, and then the first one to start overtime. So, scoring that first basket in overtime can be important sometimes. So, yeah, nice run, incredible run by Grayson there.
Coach, when you draw up a play like that, I'm just curious, maybe what was the thought of getting him that loop around to be able to get that look? Maybe just take me through how you came up with that play.
No, I mean, it's just you're trying to find some space for a shooter. The pass, it's you can never underestimate how important the guy making the pass. Royce was just put it right on the money. The screens, that attention to detail. Credit to Grayson, Royce, Book. Those guys executed well.
Curious there, obviously they got back in it at the end there to make it where you had to have that three. Went small there. Maybe what was the thinking when the Jazz were big and obviously were getting their way on the boards?
Well, I mean, Royce started the game. Royce played a lot of minutes. Royce made a lot of big shots. That's kind of our lineup, with the group we got right now. I thought Bull did help us a ton. His rebounding, shot blocking, he made some shots. So, but, trust Royce with Grayson and Book and Tyus and a 5. So I think that's given, our group, that's probably our closing group.
Coach, season high 47 points for Book. Obviously played a ton of minutes, played 49 tonight. What did you see in terms of his performance kind of driving you guys?
Yeah, I mean, he made so many plays. I think the 11 assists, stand out to me too. There was a couple times where, high-level passes, high-level reads, finding shooters on the weak side, trusting the pass against the shift. In 47, it's impressive. I think, he wanted this game in a big way.
Then obviously you made some changes to the rotation. What kind of made you go with Mason Plumlee down the stretch over Richards?
Yeah, I mean, those guys have kind of been, alternating, playing 5 or 6 minute stretches. And, sometimes it's just a gut feel at the end. And, Mason's familiarity with what we do, sometimes is important down the stretch. And they both made a lot of plays, both Nick and Mason.
Hey, Mike, we were sitting in here like 5 hours ago and everybody was kind of in a dour mood. Can a game like this turn a season, or is that too simplistic?
I mean, anytime you win a close game and, guys make big shots, guys make plays for each other, they're battling, it's a good win for us. You got to win some close ones. And we just got to get ready to go to work tomorrow again. And, I think the guys are in a good place.
Coach, I was curious with your time growing up here if you remember Rex Chapman's shot against the Sonics, a very similar-looking play.
I told Rex that was like the carbon copy. I don't think Grayson has the leg kick, but yes, I remember the shot. I see the picture in the dentist office when I go to the dentist.
I believe it was 0.8 seconds after the foul, and then they got a tenth of a second added. Did you lobby for that? Did it look like Devin was lobbying for it first? Maybe just take me through that conversation to lobby to get maybe more time.
Yeah, I mean, I think, for sure Devin's there. Devin, I think has the respect of the officials and is on top of everything. I'm doing my best from the other end of the court. I don't want to be greedy, but I think it should have been 1.2. I mean, we basically fouled him while the ball was in the air. So, I think 0.9 was at a minimum. We needed every one of those tenths of a second. So, Book's on it. Credit to the officials for changing it. We think it could have been even more.
Coach, with the struggles that you guys have had against teams with youth, length, and athleticism, is this the reason why you put Bull in to play so many minutes tonight, being that you guys were shorthanded?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think both. Shorthanded. Without Brad and KD, two guys who chew up a lot of minutes, who play a ton in the rotation. And so, I think, Damian Lee got an opportunity, Bull got an opportunity. Ryan, I think, is still, kind of he's fighting through. So those three guys all off the bench, found their spots to help us. And but Bull was great tonight. All right, thank you guys.
New season high for you with 47 points to go along with 11 assists. How were things just flowing for you tonight?
I think, we were playing hard, we were playing fast, and, the ball was hopping around, and, it just caught me at the right time of, great setups and good screens by the team.
And then just pregame, the ceremony to honor you in front of the Valley, your fans were there. And your family was there as well. Just what did that mean to you?
It meant a lot, having the history of this franchise all at center court and their family members, getting my family members, my mom and sister, out the background, get them to center court, just taking it all in. I always said I wanted to break the record at home, but, the ovation today and the love and support that was shown today, hit the same for me.
Devin, when you look at that play call for Grayson, just maybe take me through it from your end and seeing how that unfolded. Great play, by Coach. We've drilled it. I think the last time we drilled it was training camp, and it's good to have at least ran it one time, so you can see what you're getting. And we knew they were switching everything, so it was going to be a situation where you might not have to set a screen on the person that's guarding Grayson, but kind of pull my own guy into me. Excellent pass by Royce over a 7-footer, and the rest. And then lastly, obviously I saw you lobbying for more time. Coach was saying he thought it should have been 1.2, but maybe just take me through how your point of trying to get to the refs and say, hey, look, we need more time on that.
Yeah, I fouled when the ball was in the air, so it shouldn't have been more than 0.1 second off, and that matters. I've seen a lot of games in my time come down to 0.1 or 0.2 where somebody almost got a shot off, and, every millisecond counts. So, I think I got 0.1 back. I think it was 0.8. They moved it to 0.9. We'll take it.
But going back to that last play, how important is the timing of that slip by Tyus? Because it looked like he kind of got Markkanen caught in no man's land for a second there.
Yeah, he curled me, and George was playing on top, and Markkanen was, in a far chase for Grayson. So, I didn't even really have to get him. I just stood in front of him, and, the pass is probably the most impressive part, to put it on time, on target from Royce. Probably, was it over? I didn't see it. Yeah, it was over the head. Probably soccer throw. So, super impressive, executed.
How much do you weigh kind of, obviously the Jazz went on that run to take the lead there. How do you weigh closing better versus being able to actually get a momentum kind of win like that?
Yeah, we secure a few rebounds, and that game is put away. We're giving them offensive rebounds, giving them second chance points, and then fouling after they get the offensive rebound for and one. So, if we can just lock into not watching the ball when it goes and everybody just hit somebody and secure the rebound, we'd be in a better place.
Were you surprised that Laurie didn't miss the second one on purpose to run out the time?
Yeah, I thought he definitely was.
Second question is from the pregame ceremony. You pride yourself on being a historian, so do you go back and look at other footage besides Walters and the guys in the frame like Gail Goodrich?
Yeah, that was my first time meeting Gail. He told me he was a fan. I've also done my research, so it's just unbelievable, man, to take it all in with the history of the franchise. And none of those guys were here recently. That just shows you how far the history of this franchise goes back, and the respects are still paid for those guys, rightfully so. So, I'll try my best to continue to do so by whatever way I can do it, whether it's through a shoe or, talking in interviews like this, because they paved the way for me, they paved the way for this city, and they deserve the respect.
Two questions centered around the historian that you are. That is basically the Rex shot, right? When you watch it, the pass where he caught it, the whole thing.
The Rex shot?
Rex Chapman, you remember the one against the Sonics when
that is it.
He say anything to any of the guys after you run into him or anything?
No,
like that?
I'm sure he will tomorrow. I'm sure he'll show Grayson some highlights.
And then I'm not sure if you're aware, but on Sunday, Hubie Brown is actually calling his last game at the age of 91. What has it meant for you to kind of get little interactions with him here and there and growing up a basketball fan with his insight and his personality?
Yeah, true legend. The personality, like you said, you know, is second to none, and unbelievable career. You know, I'm sure everyone's going to pay the respects, rightfully so, and like you said, all the interactions that we've had in short passing, you know, I've paid my respects.
Hey, Devin. CJ Chattis, Burn City Sports. You guys are down by 4 or 5 seconds remaining. You know, fans starting to clear out, and obviously everything turns around. Grayson hits that 3. You guys go to overtime, and you win it. What are the emotions kind of in those last few seconds of regulation going into overtime for you and just the guys in general? What are the emotions like for you guys as you head into that?
I mean, just the old-fashioned mindset, it's not over till it's over. Everybody was still locked in. Nobody dropped their heads. We went to the timeout, and, you know, we locked into the play call that Coach drew up, and, you know, we executed at a high level. So, if anything, it's a lesson for us moving forward. If it comes to the playoff time where you have to steal a game, I remember when we did it versus the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals game 2, like, the game is truly never over, and, you know, you don't want to be on the other side of that. So it's a learning lesson both ways. Yep.
Grayson, 7 made threes for you tonight, including the one to send it into overtime. Just describe that moment when the ball left your hands.
It felt good right when I shot it, and it was online too, so I knew I had a chance as soon as it left my hands.
We talked about, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
We talked post-game just about the response that you got from your teammates. What was it like in the locker room after this one?
It was a very happy locker room. It was not toxic at all. That was a big win for us. I felt like we were really connected towards the end of that game. I mean, even the little things like that last play, Royce just telling me right before we went out there, like, just run to this spot, I'm going to throw it right there and knock it down. And that's what we needed to win that game.
Obviously, Grayson, you look at the play itself. Devin was saying you guys repped it in training camp. To at least, you at least kind of knew, okay, this is how it could go.
Yeah.
But is that about as perfect as it could go, considering the limited number of times you guys had actually ran it?
Yeah, I mean, we script through a lot of end-of-game situations and run through a lot of end-of-game plays that some you never use in a whole season, some you use once. So the few times that we went through it, I think, helped. And I thought Royce obviously with a great pass, but then me and Book just creating a little confusion there on whether they switch or not on that flare. But yeah, I don't know. We might have walked through it once or twice months ago, maybe. But yeah, it worked out.
The other thing I had was obviously the 3 was necessary to tie the game, and then you hit a 3 coming out of the OT. How big was that to kind of get another run going? I believe you guys started the OT 8-0 run.
Yeah, we started the overtime very well. We created some really good looks. I think Royce knocked down 2 in overtime, right? We just created a lot of good looks offensively there, and Book had it going, obviously, so there's a lot of attention on him, and we were able to space and make plays off of that and knock down big shots.
Grayson, how is your face? Were you bleeding from the nose or the mouth, or what happened?
It was just I got hit in the chin, but my tooth went up into my lip, so I was bleeding a good bit. And then I had to make sure I wasn't seeing double and everything like that.
When you look at the way you guys were able to close out the game, but also the Jazz went on that run to kind of take the lead back, how do you weigh, the way you guys were able to get a good momentum kind of win versus closing a little bit better?
Yeah, we're going to have to maybe look at the film. I actually felt like we were really fighting for defensive rebounds and really boxing out and attacking the boards, and they just got some crazy lucky bounces, or unlucky for us, that went right into their hands, or they get an air ball, rebound, and one. Like, just some really unlucky stuff, and they hit some big shots too. So I think they deserve a little bit of credit for, willing themselves back into the game. And but we do need to hold that lead and close the game out better and, not rely on a final play call.
Grayson, I don't know if you've gotten to know Rex Chapman over the last 2 years with him here. I don't know if you're familiar. He hit like a very similar shot in the playoffs. Are you familiar with the shot at all?
No, I'm sure he'll send it to me.
Yeah, he probably will. It's actually from like the same exact spot on the floor, same pass, like the whole thing. What's the main thing you're focusing on once you turn the corner and realize like you're going to be open? What's the main thing in your head?
Well, in that situation, since it's a skip pass, it feels like there's a lot of time of the ball in the air before it gets to your hands, and I'm covering so much ground across the three-point line. The first box you're trying to check is feet behind the line, and then once you catch it, for a righty going to the right, you kind of feel a little freer that the guy's not going to block it, and just get the shot off and trust it. But going that way, I just say making sure you're behind the line and getting that right shoulder around towards the rim.
It was one of those where you didn't dip. Let me stop.
Grayson, you've only been here a season and a half, but no other Suns player has as many games with at least 7 threes as you. You passed Rajah Bell tonight. That was your 8th. Just when you hear that, only being here that long, what goes through your mind?
Yeah, it's. I felt like I've been playing my best basketball of my career here. I do think that playing with Brad, Kevin, Devin has brought out the best in me as a basketball player. I think someone said that they don't do that to their teammates, but I think I'm a very clear example that they do. I think that's a big part of it, and me being in my 6th and 7th year in the league playing here now, and just think I'm a lot more comfortable in a good spot in the league, and feel very confident with every shot I take, but a lot of my threes are assisted, so I have got some really good teammates here, and they all give the ball up early, on time, on target, and I'm able to get some good looks up.
Grayson, it seems like you really relish in that moment when the game's on the line, the ball's in your hand. Do you enjoy that moment?
Yeah, for sure. I actually don't know if I have a NBA fourth quarter buzzer beater yet. That might be my first. But yeah, everyone loves to be in that moment. You get the final shot of the game and the chance to, in this case, put it into overtime, sometimes win the game. It's that's one of those things that I've done 1,000 times in the driveway, counting down in my head when I was a kid. So it's awesome to be able to do.
You said that Book, playing with him and Brad and Kevin made you better. What does it feel like to be a part of this team and on the court when Devin hits that shot for being an all-time leading scorer? Or being on, with the team at least.
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. It's something he's going to hold that record for a long time, if not forever. But he's outside of, obviously you got to be deserving and score all the points to do it, but I feel like he's a very deserving person. He works hard, approaches the game the right way, and he's a great teammate, great guy to be around. So very happy for him, and when his career is all said and done, people are going to talk about him as being one of the great scorers of all time. So it's really cool to play with him.